Painting with Menoth John is presented in Super Legitivision. Super Legitivision, the future of podcasting. It's .com.
Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there isn't a goddamn limit on this show. Let me tell you what. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Painting with Menoth John Sunday Night Extravaganza, your anchor for Sunday night fun, frivolity, shenanigans, if you will. The occasional bit of painting. You never know what might happen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the new studio. Woo! Yay! It's actually the same old studio, but I got a blanket hanging up. And I had this is by a Belinda Librarian's sister-in-law, is a pretty top-notch quilter, as you can see. And I asked her to make me a blanket with the Painting with Menoth John Brushhead logo, and that's what that is back there. And then on the back side, it's got a Menifix with my Menoth John across the top, and it's super legit and super sweet and all that kind of crap. And so there you go. That's we're kicking it. We also have the scroll at the beginning, and we'll talk about that here coming up. But before we do that, we have some introductions. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the man that helps make this all happen every week, keeps me motivated, he is the wind beneath my wings. Ladies and gentlemen, the co-host with the host, Mr. John Spencer.
Hey, Brushheads, how you doing?
I hope they're doing half as good as me. I'll tell you what. If they are, then they are 50% as good as me. So also with us,
That's math.
you can't fucking argue with math. So you can, but then you'd probably be like one of the 13 Republican candidates.
Politics alert.
No, just some of the memes that have been coming out regarding the Kentucky situation have been quite good, but we're not going to go there. We also have with us one of our all-time favorite guests, folks. This is your legitimate painter alert right now. We have with us, of course, the amazing Shoshie Bauer of Shoshie's Magnificent Mini Painting. Welcome to the show again, Shoshie.
Hey, Brushheads.
It's
Good
so
to be back.
good to have you here. It's so good. I'm hitting the table and it's making everything shake. It's God. Anyway, so we're very excited. This is going to be an amazing episode. Like we talked about, this is a Brushhead Gallery one. So we've had plenty of submissions, and I would like to apologize to some of you who just in the last few minutes and within the last half hour have submitted pictures. We're not going to be able to get them into the show this week. I posted very late to Warmachine Hordes painting, and that was a mistake. And I should have posted that up a week ago. And as a result, when I did post it up, I got some good entries from those folks. We will save those for quarter four. And the way that I do that is I just use my Gmail and I search for Brushhead Gallery. It comes up. We won't lose anything. It'll be amazing. And we're going to have all of that going on this evening here on the Sunday Night Extravaganza. Shoshie, how have you been since we had you on the show last of 1 quarter ago?
I've been good. I've been doing a lot of painting, and actually right now I'm on a little commission break, so I'm not having to do stuff for other people, but I've got a little painter's ADD, which means I've got like 4 or 5 projects going, and I don't have anything finished because it's all for me.
I call that a day ending in Y.
I know. Exactly.
I look across my painting table and it is a vast wasteland of models that have color on various and sundry parts of them, and not a single one of them remotely done. So
Yeah. So
Uh,
you understand my pain.
I feel your pain. I absolutely feel your pain. I am your pain.
I
Yeah.
think unless someone just paints Warmachine Hordes models, they all feel your pain.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I did start my pure blood, and I've got the old model, which is pretty cool. And I decided to paint him black instead of white.
Nice. Nice.
And so I'm excited about getting him done.
Yeah, I saw
I
some
need to
pictures.
get that guy.
Yep, he's cool.
Yeah.
He's cool. So what are we having for beverages, Shoshie? Why don't you start us off so we can like build to a crescendo?
I have my cherry lime LaCroix, or as you call it, my bullshit water.
Yeah, flavored bullshit water, LaCroix. Here in Wisconsin, we call that LaCroix, but that's
LaCroix?
fine. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Or
yeah.
LaCroix.
LaCrax. You're from Southern Illinois. It's LaCrax down there.
I know. I'm from Central Illinois. We're not that southern.
Yeah, you don't have a thick accent. That's fine. You're still getting secondhand smoke off Chicago at that point.
Kinda, yeah.
John, what are you having for drinky poo tonight?
Well, I've got a shot of Kraken, and I also got a Dr. Pepper and Fireball mix too.
Nice. I will be drinking I've got my initial drink is going to be a Force Blow served out of an Adepticon glass. And that, Sochi, in case you don't know, is somewhere between maybe 3 shots of Kraken and orange juice.
Oh my gosh.
And orange
Okay.
juice. It's delicious. It's like
It
an
is.
orange Julius. And then
Oh, I love Orange Julius.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man.
Yeah. But it's dangerous as hell.
oh
I
yeah,
bet.
this will mess you up. It's not as bad as a Soul Collector. It's not. The Soul Collector is just straight up gonna kill you. A Soul Collector is hard ginger beer and 2 or 3 shots of Kraken, and it when your wash is 6% alcohol, good times, ladies and gentlemen. This is the other thing I'm having. We have some fire brewed hard root beer from Sprecher, which is a brewery here in Wisconsin, and it's super legit. And if that runs out and I'm still able to sit vertically, I will have some Kraken because I've got that laying on here. Shoshi, this one's for you. Thanks for being on the show again. And for all the brush heads that submitted for this quarter's. Hey, Ron.
Run.
Right.
Literally, we do more drinking than we ever do painting on this show.
I do.
Fact. And keeping with that, ladies and gentlemen, we keep the lights on here thanks to patreon.com. And I would be remiss if I didn't pimp out the Patreon again. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support the show, it's right over here. It's been there right along. Support the show, www.patreon.com/menothjohn. And John, if you support the show, what do you become?
A crony.
That's right. You become a crony. You get crony status, and with crony status comes a seat at the table, so to speak. Yes, we offer a cabinet-level position in the presidency for life of Menoth John. And we have, John, we have a couple of new members of the cabinet.
We do. Let's hit it.
So this week, I did email these guys and ask them for their cabinet positions and any initial acts that they want to. Obviously, very very busy individuals. They haven't had a chance to get back to us yet. So we'll hold on to it, and when we do get them, we will put them in here. First one is Richard Johnson, otherwise known as Explosive Bro, which is Explosivo's brother, and from the Mechanica Studios fame. Richard Johnson is an amazing guy. I've actually been in Kansas City and visited with him and eaten barbecue with him and broken bread and all that kind of crap. And he's a super amazing guy and a definitely a welcome addition to the cronies. And then I have Andrew Sweetberg, who we're going to get a chance to see some of his works later on in the Brushhead Gallery.
Excellent.
Super fantastic. So welcome to the cabinet, cronies. As you know, I am a benevolent and kind dictator, president for life, not giving it up, me and Kim Jong-il. And so welcome to the cabinet for life, or at least until you stop supporting the show, in which case then I'm going to kick you out. So But, we prefer the kind that jingle. We prefer the kind that fold, but we'll take the kind that jingles right down here at patreon.com/menothjohn. There. Pimp that out hard enough. I do want to do a little pay it forward moment here, folks. Friend of the show, Daniel Reichert from the Dark Omen Gaming Group, has had some tough times. He is a student, and his car blew up. I don't know to what level it blew up, but it is not an operable four-wheeled mode of transportation any longer. So he has a GoFundMe, which if you got to be careful how you say that because it could easily turn into something else. But it's an opportunity for you to go on if you've got a couple extra bucks you want to toss his way to help get him back on the road. I know he would appreciate it. He's a great guy, does a lot for the community up there in Connecticut, and I really need to stop hitting the top of the table because every time I do, the camera loses its goddamn mind. So I'm going to stop doing that. So get over there we'll put a link over there on the Painting with Menoth John Facebook site, so that you can click and donate to the Dan Gets a Car Fund. So hopefully we can help him out. He's a wonderful fella, and I hope you'll donate. John, we have expanded our reach, have we not?
Yes, we have expanded a lot.
Absolutely, we are. We're as you may have noticed if you tuned in for the pre-ramble, which if you're listening to this on audio, it won't help. We put a little scroll on, and we have decided to pull together a network of shows that we are karmically aligned with. Shows that are really more interested in having fun. Not necessarily. Some of the stuff may be a little bit competitive. Some of it may be a lot less competitive. This show is anything but competitive. But we're calling it the MJ Warmachine Hordes Network, MJN, and you'll see some logos for it. And so far, we have 2 members, John, who have signed on to be a part of the MJN.
Yes, we do. One of them just recently.
Yes, you want to tell us a little bit about that, John, as you are personally involved in that one?
Indeed. We've decided, we talked with Immortan Joe, who's one of the brains behind Pillar's Assault. I'm also part of it, but I don't really do any planning. I just lend my C-list internet celebrity to it.
That's right.
And
for a double dose of your pimping.
Someone else called me C-list. I was calling myself D-list, but someone else upgraded me, so I'll run with it.
Upgrade. That's it with 2 Ds.
That's an upgrade.
So that's for a double dose of your pimping.
Jesus. Oh, so they're going to join up, and they do a lot of. We're going to do a lot of streaming and recording games.
Yep.
They're the ones who helped us out with the Power Couple Deathmatch. We did a bunch of rounds locally with the guys there, with Immortan Joe himself, and a couple of the locals from my store. And generally, we just sort of like Menoth John. We try and do hardcore casual, just having fun recording games. We might stream one eventually, but we decided to jump on and team up.
Yep. We're also going to be welcoming Beer Machine. Most of you may know Beer Machine from the audio podcasts on the Muse stream. Beer Machine is looking at adding some streaming of games, and we're going to be hosting their streams here on the MJN. So essentially what's going to happen, folks, is if you subscribe to the channel here on twitch.tv/MenothJohn, they will essentially be streaming on our channel. So you'll get notified that, that something is happening on this channel, and it'll seem like it's coming from me, much in the same way that Chain Attack TV has consolidated a number of different shows, with like New Jersey streams on there and all that kind of stuff. So I just thought, we've got all this time on the channel that we're not necessarily using. Why not offer up the community that we have? It's a pretty good-sized community, and offer them the opportunity to kind of get a little bit of a head start. So we're going to be looking at adding shows that are in it for the fun, and our slogan is "We put the fun in gaming," and that's what we're going to do. We've got a couple, at least one other channel that we're talking to right now that hopefully we can make some formal announcements in the future. And
we should talk to the guys at the Krug if they ever get going again.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Yeah, we absolutely should.
Those guys are one of our spirit animals.
Yes, they are. And it'd be neat to see another game on here too, not just Warmachine Hordes. So even though it's Warmachine Hordes Network, who cares? Consistency is for the small-minded. So anyway, so that's what we're doing. You're going to see the MJN logos coming to various and sundry different locations, and stay tuned here to the Twitch channel to see some new programming. Hopefully, we can add some new stuff along with streaming of games. We can do some more variety type shows like Painting with Menoth John. We can hopefully get some just get some love out there for the hobby stuff. So, anyhow, let's move on then to just very briefly mention and congratulate Team Winland, the Finnish team.
Winland, yes.
They did do a fabulous job, and they were the winners of the World Team Championship held in Killarney, Ireland, and they were victorious over the Wombat team from Australia. So
who did really well.
Yeah, I mean they did fantastic.
Point that out.
They did really
fantastic. Australia
fantastic.
did do second and third, which is legit.
That is legit.
Yep. So, I think that says something about where this game has gone from an international standpoint. And, I think for a long time we selfishly thought of ourselves as being, since the game was invented in this country, somehow we had a birthright to being the best in the world at it. It turns out that may not be the case. Now the USA teams I know they did their best and tried as hard as they can, but by gosh, there's some great competition out there, and sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. So hats off to both USA teams for trying as hard as they did, and we'll put in some more rounds in the chamber and see if we can't do it next year.
Absolutely.
So that's what we've got as far as initial business. So, and we're right on schedule, John, which is sort of amazing.
Yes, we are.
It's like we've done this for 2.5 years.
Or something like that, yeah.
All right. So, as you all know, the whole reason to kind of get things going here today is the Brushhead Gallery, and I am going to go ahead and bring that up here now. This is one of my favorite shows. Whoa, that didn't translate very well. All right, hang on. We're going to go ahead. I have to reformat a couple of things. Little dive behind the scenes here. Trying to figure out how to make this not suck. As I
do it live.
As I reformat literally everything. Hang on here. We're going to have to bring this up here and then make this smaller, I guess.
Ooh.
There we go. And
fancy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Technology. That doesn't usually go so well for us.
XSplit turns out even XSplit can correct for my horrendous ability to do any of this crap. All right, so there we go. We've got the Brushhead Gallery. We've got Team Shoshie and Team John Spencer down here in the corner, and then you've got my sorry ass up here in this side. So I'm going to shrink myself down. I'm completely not important. Here we go. All right, so there we go. Quarter 3 of the Brushhead Gallery, folks. Tadgo, you are going to definitely have to make another one of these pictures for us for year 3 coming up at the end of the year. The Brushhead being held by Tadgo is amazing. So let's start off here. We have a new contributor to the to the Brushhead Gallery. This is from Adam Sir Broadsword Shaw, and this is Epic Krios. So this is I'm not sure how far behind on the stream. How bad are we lagging tonight, John?
No, we're there.
Okay. So really nice job here. This is actually a model that's fairly difficult to make look good, in my opinion. This is
he's
go ahead.
Kind of smaller than you'd think and stuff. He's a tough one. I've seen him a couple times. He doesn't always come out great.
But I think he's done a really nice job here. You know, Shoshie, I think, doing shading on white is something that's always kind of mystified me a little bit. Can you offer some perspective? He seems like he's done a nice job here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I always start with an off-white or a tan, and then work my way up to cream, and then I don't actually use white. Maybe a little bit on the highest highlights if you're wanting to really make it pop, but usually I start with a dark,
almost like a Hammerfall khaki?
Hammerfall khaki or a jackbone or some kind of neutral base color, and then Menoth base, and then Menoth Highlight is
Interesting.
usually like, and then what's that other color that's after that? The cream color. It's probably Menoth Highlight, I think.
Menoth Highlight is like a stone's throw from white.
Yeah, it's very close. Yeah, that would be that would be my quote unquote white, because it reads as white when you get it against a darker, shade base.
Nice.
But I find it, Menoth are some of the most difficult models to paint for me,
Yeah.
just because they're, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I tried painting. The paint scheme I've kind of gone with is more of a sanguine and black type of a color scheme for Protector, just because I'm so scared of white.
Yeah, I like they look more evil, and I think they're cooler looking when they're in the black scheme. But I like this too. I mean,
Yep, looks really
they did
good.
a really good job.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then a really wonderful Anastasia Debray here. Anastasia Debray, to put it in perspective, is like an inch long. It is such a small model, and I think Adam has done a great job here of capturing a lot of detail in a lot of shading, even on a very, very small model. The lips on the face are just blowing my mind.
Yeah, she's very cool. You did a good job of not letting any of the other colors draw you away. Your eyes are still centered on the model, which I like, and that's actually hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got a lot of the coal black and highlights and stuff like that, and then you've got these warm colors. That's something that Chris Surrey had talked to us about on the show that he was on, was using these warm colors as a contrast to the cooler colors to kind of draw your eye into the model.
Mm-hmm.
Talking like I know what the hell I'm talking about, huh? Yeah? That's some shit right there. So, good job, Adam. Excellent job. Now, this one comes from a fellow that's local to, not extremely local. He's from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. This is Ryan Goes. He is our cabinet member. He is the Secretary of Good Times, and he presents a guy that can represent some bad times if you have to face against him. And this is Mulg the Ancient here, and doing a very unique color scheme that I haven't seen before, doing a lot of blues and oranges on this one.
Really like it. It almost gives it a patinaed kind of, like maybe they're pieces of copper ore or something that have been lying around that gathered some oxidization.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was thinking. It actually looks very cool, and I like the way the runes came out. They're actually distinct enough to see, which is awesome.
Yep, and I believe that's exactly the effect he was shooting for, was like a patinaed copper kind of a feel. So, I think you pulled it off really excellent, Ryan. Ryan also gave us another one here. He's got Doom Shaper. I believe that's Doomy 2. Or is that Doomy 1?
I don't think Doomy 2 is Doomy 2 out yet.
No,
No,
Doomy
Doomy
3 is not out yet.
Oh, Doomy 3 is not out yet.
That's
so Doomy
that's
2.
Doomy 2.
That's Doomy 2? Okay.
Yep.
Doom Shaper 2. And then we have, of course, Silent Bob, we have not the High Reclaimer, but we have his buddy, Tom, the Testament of Menoth, there in the middle. And the thing I like about Tom is on the base there. This is one of the old epic bases that they stopped doing because they were so full of metal that they didn't want to do that anymore. I like the highlighting that he used on the stone to show the break points on it. I think that's a really nice job there.
Oh yeah.
Ryan is pretty new to painting, and so it's really I think he's come an awfully long way in a short amount of time.
Yeah, looks really good. You can't tell that he's brand new.
He was a fellow that had reached out to me, and we had talked a little bit about using wet palettes, and these were some of the first models that he had used wet palette to use, and he is absolute convert on the wet palette usage now.
Nice.
Cool.
So.
Just a little quick warning, I'm having a little bit of lag, so I might be behind you guys in my commentary. So I'm not able to see things as quickly as you guys are.
Yeah, your audio quality is degraded a little bit. I think you might be having some bandwidth issues there in Central Illinois. Now, I understand that in Central Illinois, internet is delivered by carrier pigeon, So, if
Yeah.
you can get those carrier
Well-
pigeons to go a little faster.
My husband could be home and he could be using the internet, which means he might be playing some sort of game or something. So I could text him and let him know.
If you would like to yell at him, that would be fine. So, on camera even would be just great.
Oh no, I love him more than that.
So, all right. So there you go. Then this is also a new person that has not submitted anything in the past. This is Tal Kazar. I think I pronounced that Kazar. I believe I pronounced that correct. And one of the things Tal said was he would appreciate any comments or improvement tips. And here we have, I believe this is Veil 2. Am I right, John?
I can't tell them apart, honestly. I haven't played them enough.
It is a Veil.
I just see crosshairs and like a target.
I just see bullshit Legion and walk in the other direction. But no,
Yeah.
this is I believe this is Veil, and so he's looking for some improvement things. I would say the first thing that kind of jumps to mind is that with picking maybe kind of a cloak that is that light, it makes it a little bit difficult to pick up on some of the folds and things like that, especially in the back. Shoshie, you're a much better painter than we are. What are some tips that you might give Tal to kind of help him along?
Well, I mean, it looks like Tal has painted it solid white, so I don't see any shading or any other values in it. So as just like we talked about with the Menoth, base it in some off-white color first, or a tan color, and then blend up to your highest highlights on the very last, and that's going to be the little folded parts. Or you could also paint your white and then shade in with, this is harder though, I think, but you could shade it, you could paint in your shadows as well, so that you've got a different value.
Yeah, and rather than using tan, you could use a very light blue instead if you're going for that bluish white
Yeah.
sort of look. And
Exactly.
actually, when it looks like you want to water down your colors a little more, I can see a little bit in the folds towards the top of the cape. It looks like it pooled a little bit there. So, but that's just stuff that happens. You can easily just water your paints out a little more and just smooth that out.
And Tal, that's another opportunity where a wet palette will certainly help you. It's like one of the things we talked about on last week's show about wet palette usage, and I would urge you, if you didn't watch that episode, to go back and take a look at it, is that putting the paints on a wet palette and then drawing the paint out with your brush to kind of get some of that moisture off of off the wet palette can kind of help pre-dilute it. The other thing to kind of keep in mind is I notice here in the shot that you're using Citadel paints, and keep in mind the Citadel paints are a little bit thicker than some of the other paints, especially their ones that are called what the heck is it called, base colors. Those are very thick. And I also talked a little bit about, I took a pot of Abaddon Black base and put 4 milliliters of water into the pot, and I got the kind of consistency that I'm used to getting with like Privateer Press's stuff right out of the paint pot. So diluting them even in the paint pot might be something to think about. And when I used that black, I remember I was a little scared about whether or not I'd over diluted it. I recently painted this guy, and I'm going to put him on the paint cam here real quick. I'm going to divert for a second. And this is Menoth Fred that I've been working on. And I painted the base ring here with that Abaddon Black, and it went on super smooth. Very, you can see it's got a very even coating, and it didn't take but one pass to get a nice dark black color like this. And this was, a very much lighter color than this. It was almost white from doing zenithal shading on it. So I highly recommend that method. Okay.
Yeah, but if you're not comfortable putting it in the paints, just when you use your palette, wet palette or not, just make sure you take some out and you water it down a little bit. Play around with it, get a test model. If you've got old GW models or whatever you can find, old bits of sprue if you've got GW or whatever, just try it out to get to the consistency you want.
Excellent. Well, there you go. There's some tips for you, Tal, and keep painting, and make sure that you get something entered in next quarter for the competition. Here's another new. This is from our new cabinet member, Andrew Swedberg, and this is one that he talked. He's had picked up the cricks here not too long ago and decided he wanted to teach himself how to paint very, very quickly. And this is one that he had sent. He wanted to. It went from prime to clear coat in 2 to 3 hours. And as
Holy
you can
crap.
see, this is
That's gorgeous.
a pretty amazing job for 2 to 3 hours worth of work.
Oh yeah, for 2-3 hours work, that's just absolutely the bomb.
It's really going to pop on the table and, look really nice in a game too.
One thing that the picture may not be picking up quite as well as it might. It could be the way that I didn't adjust the colors in this, but it was maybe the stream isn't doing justice to it. But if you notice, he's patinaed all of these metal parts in here for the tentacles, and then also the unicorn cannon, as well as the
I can see it on the
vents.
smokestacks, yeah.
Yeah, he went back. It looks like he used the Citadel Nikolai oxide, which is really good for providing that kind of copper patina, but really did a really nice job. He paid close attention to where the patina would be, where it wouldn't be rubbed off, and things like that. And I thought it did just a wonderful job on this model.
Yeah,
It does
absolutely.
look nice.
Especially, yeah, I mean that's the kind of model you could handle having an army painted that standard. And if it only took him 2-3 hours for the Kraken, Lord, he'll have whole army painted in an afternoon.
Pretty much, he's going to be ripping through mechanothralls.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Well, here's a stalwart member of the Brushhead community, Mr. Robert Dorefsky, providing us some really beautiful reds here with his Khador. Here we have an Iron Fang Kovnik, I believe, is the model, and the shading on the red is just to die for.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell do you pull that effect off?
Browns. I think browns.
Okay.
You can two brush blend with browns, or you could also probably maybe use an ink. I think you used paint though, but
I've got to take me a
if you
class.
if you start with a darker red and just build it up, you could do it too.
Exactly.
That might take a bit longer though. That might
Yeah.
be the easy but longer way.
mm-hmm.
I need to take a class in two brush blending because I've fumbled around with it and made an ass of myself and ended up repainting stuff.
It's mostly what I use now, and it's really easy. And if you're an impatient painter, it's really nice because it's very fast. I like it a
He
lot.
said it ends up being red ink over a gray black,
Okay.
which is very impressive.
Yeah.
Wow, so he's building that up with a red ink, huh?
Uh-huh.
That's really nice because it's hard to get that smooth, though,
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy
unless
talk.
you're doing it really slow.
Well, here he is wowing us again with the Berserker, and I think the Berserker is without question my favorite of the Khador jacks, as far as the way that the chassis looks and all that stuff. I just wish the damn rules were as good as the jack looks, and he is once again using that same technique of building up with the red inks to give us this. The shading.
It's
And
beautiful.
what's amazing, the 3 dimensions that he's able to emphasize by building it up and really making those highlights really pop cherry red.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other
And
thing,
also,
go
I
ahead.
wanted to know, is he using inks on the smokestacks on the little vents there? Is that another ink technique that he's doing?
On the silvers or on the bronze?
On the bronze golds, yeah.
He can answer that. From me, it looks like what he's done is he's come back with solid gold against something that he had maybe washed with a reddish brown wash, and then came back with the solid golds to kind of pick up the highlights.
Yeah. I like that one. I like it when people do that, when they kind of vary the colors
He
on
said
this.
it's an oil wash that he made.
Oh, nice. Fancy. I haven't used oils yet. I mean, I'm wanting to, though, because I really like the effect that it has.
The other thing I wanted to highlight here is the effective use of basing. And the thing that I think is really cool, if you look here, I mean, for me, I'm the typical gravel and or sand and some flock and crap like that. But this is really amazing. You look at the U channel that he's got down here by the foot, And not only has he painted it, but he's also gone through here and he's weathered it. And I think that really, it just pops. It makes the whole model look so much more beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here, this picture here, this is the next one from Robert is Butcher 3. And this is one that I think it's more from a photography standpoint. The colors are a little bit more yellow than I think he probably wishes if it was. But what a beautiful model. And I love the work that he's done dry brushing up the fur and giving a lot of contrast on that. And I also very much appreciate the Signar skull in the back there.
That's great. I love that.
Yep.
Can I make one little tiny
please
suggestion?
Please.
This would be one part on the back of the cloak. I think a little shading within the folds because it looks, maybe it's the photograph, but I have a hard time seeing the different values in the folds.
So it makes some sense. So what you're saying here is come back with maybe a darker brown in the folds here to make those
the shadows, yeah.
Sure, to make the shadows a little bit more predominant.
Yeah, that's not. But everything else looks really nice on it.
Cool, good job, Robert. Thank you very much for your submission. Really appreciate it. Now we've got a couple here from Chris Ponkovich Williams, and this is one that he urges us to ignore the segment lines because he's magnetized this model. This is one of the Dire Troll kits, and that's why you see the pronounced line here at the top of the bomber and on the Mauler, because that piece actually comes out and interchanges. But very beautiful, classic blue colored trolls.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
I'm always impressed with anybody who goes through the trouble of magnetizing because it just seems like it'd be very painstaking.
And I really like the blue belly and the lighter blue belly and the lighter blue pads of the hands.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
a
the
detail
hands
a
look
lot
amazing.
of people tend to forget.
Look at the fingernails. I mean, look at how he's shaded like real nails are. They're darker towards the root and then lighter out towards the tip, and just a beautiful job, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, thumbs up.
We're now here to a little bit of a change of pace from Barry Holmes. We have some pictures here. These are some models from different games. The first one here, this Red Dragon and Blue Dragon, are from a game called Drake the Dragon War Game by Action Game Miniatures. And I believe that the email that Barry sent in mentioned that the game was to be kickstarted and it died and never really succeeded. And as a result, he has a few of these miniatures, but in part of a game. But he likes to use these miniatures for D&D, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
So I like on the sort of the dragon mystic or whatever that is. He's got a little flame going on here. Went back and gave a little bit of contrast there to the veins in the wings with a little bit of dry brush going on there.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. I like the red dragon a lot too.
Yeah, who doesn't like an armored dragon?
The metal, yeah, exactly. I think that looks great.
Because dragons aren't tough enough. Let's put them in armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, adventurers don't like armored dragons. That's who. Matthew McConaughey.
I see the blue dragon as being very sophisticated. He looks like he's ready for a night on the town with that.
He might be the most interesting dragon in the world.
He might be. He doesn't always burn your village down, but when he does it with fire. So here's a couple more models from Barry. This is the blue wolf here on the right side. Is the model is Ekhis, model from Soda Pop Miniatures game Relic Knights, who according to
he's the sort of like he hangs out with a little girl. He's like her psychic projection who kicks people's butts.
Nice. And usually he's a brown color, but decided to make him bright blue to cheer him up a little bit. So
Well, and he's got a little bow in his hair.
I know how
Do you
cute.
see
Huh?
that?
Yep.
Yeah, because the girl he hangs out with is literally like a young girl.
Oh, that's great.
It's sort of like Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, and they're a knight. They're like the leader of your force.
Yeah.
And she's actually pretty cool in the game too. And then those are librarians from the same faction.
Nice.
Looks
Rupert
good.
and Giles. I like it. Well played.
I've been in a lot of libraries, I have never seen anything like that in a library. And if those guys are librarians, I'm not sure what kind of books are going to be in that library.
Those guys are super mega tough. I've played a couple games of Relic Knights. It's kind of fun. It's kind of Malifaux-y, and that scenarios are super important and you use cards instead. And those guys are super tough to kill. I mean, I played Brushhead Brett Painter once, and even though I was crushing his force, he had one of those guys left. I couldn't kill it, and he almost won the game just because it's scenario based. It was kind of cool.
Sounds like Tyrone. That guy's a one-man killing machine. All right. Now we've it's always fun to steal stuff from other podcasts. So we have a submission here from Lance Becker, who is otherwise known as the Lance Cut That Out, who did so much editing for Muse back in the days. And here he has some figures from Infinity, John.
Oh yeah, some Mariata.
Nice. That looks amazing.
They're
Because
very
those
cool,
are
yeah.
way smaller than Troll Bloods, and look at the Tardans on those guys.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And he did want to pass along big thanks to Shoshie and to me for talking about tartans on the show, and he gets a lot of compliments from it. So
Nice.
yeah, I just did some more tartans for my kilt lifter, and it's a fun technique to play around with. It's a challenge to get the lines to be in the right orientation so that it looks the way cloth really is supposed to look. But these look fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Love the purple
I
hair.
can tell.
Love the purple
Those
hair.
look really nice. Yay.
Okay, then from Simon Bromfield Young, we have some retribution, and he's very proud. He's very proud of the eyes on this Mage Hunter assassin. We'll see a more close up one coming up, but I really like the Tetzelworm. The thing that I love about the Tetzelworm here, this is from Dolly and Scareth, of course, is the white stripe that he decided to put down along here. I can literally imagine seeing a snake out in the wild with that type of coloration, and just hit it out of the park with that one, I think.
I really dig the bases.
Yeah,
Yep.
the bases look great. The snake has a very even though it's a snake, if it has a very like a armored snake feel to it.
Yep.
Like you don't want to mess with them.
No, you do not want to mess with a Tetzelworm. I really like I agree, John. I mean, the leaf litter here it's another example where basing your model can make a tremendous difference in the overall look of your army. So hats off to you on that one, Simon. And then here we go. This is maybe not the greatest. When I blew it up, it got a little bit grainy, but really like the eyes on the Mage Hunter Assassin. And great job there on the metals with the bluing of the metals and the highlights, and then that, and then as we like to say, dead objective.
Yes.
I don't even know. Okay, I think the one thing looks like almost like a creel stone, and I don't know what that model is that he chose to use for the person worshiping it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be something from another system. It's nothing I recognize, though.
Yeah,
It's a cool idea. I like it.
I mean, can you?
That's saying something.
That's like an arcane. That's like an arcane wonder objective. Is the way I look at it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's what I would think firsthand too.
Yep.
Nice OSL glow against the person as well.
Agreed. I was just going to mention that. So good job on that one, Simon. Excellent. Then I've got, this is an interesting slide. He did a Minuteman conversion, and it's very popular to do Minuteman conversions that include smoke pouring out of the jump jets. And I wanted to show this. He sent me a series of pictures, and Simon, you sent me a lot of pictures, and I didn't include all of them, but I hope that you're happy with the ones that we decided to include. Here it shows how you take a Minuteman and then build that smoke up, and you can see he's used some brass rod to suspend the model, and then he took the green stuff and wrapped it around, and then you can see him slowly building up the smoke bubbles and things like that until finally you have the model to the left with the big billowy smoke and fire.
That is really badass. And I was going to ask you, John, could you post that picture on your Facebook page so that we can see, a better close up on that
Sure.
when after the show?
Sure. I can definitely do that.
So I want to do that someday. That's really cool.
I think he did a thread on this on the Privateer Press forums too. I remember it from a while ago when I used to. Either that or someone did something similar, but I can remember this one being it.
There's actually a lot more pictures to this as well. This is a selected 4. There's a series of, I would say, 10 photos showing this in various sundry progression. So
Wow.
I will definitely put these out here. Simon, you did a fantastic job on this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Simon, if you've got a link to the longer tutorial, post that with that too.
Yep. Then, of course, we have our one of our dear friends, Miles Healy. This is his Greenskin Trolls. And I can see he's over there on the far right-hand side. He's got some highwaymen coming along. God bless you. I will pray for you every day when it comes to the highwaymen. Because they're slowly killing my soul. And then we have Horthal here, which is actually a model I had sent to him. I had an extra Horthal, so I sent it along to him. It turns out you cannot field 2 Horthals ever. So I decided, well, someone else might as well have some fun. So he got that one finished up, and great job, Miles.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love them greenskins. Orc trolls.
Orc trolls. They are orc trolls.
And then we have a late one. This was the last one that I had come in. This is from Doug Shannon. This is an Absalonia 2 repose. And we see a very different take on the Legion color scheme here with and boy, I'll tell you what, it takes guts and determination to undertake this color scheme.
That much yellow? Brave man.
Oh. And then
it came out well. I think it looks good.
It looks beautiful. And then all the oranges.
Smooth.
Yeah. So
it's that paint scheme you're like, I'd love to paint that, but I don't feel like screwing it up on that many models.
Yep. And so fantastic on this one, Doug. And then lastly, we have one that a work in progress from John Snodgrass. This model's actually mine. This is going to be my Witch Dock Croc. We're doing a little bit of a paint exchange. And if you watched the show last week, you saw me with my Bob Ross inspired whelp that is going to be complete this week. And then this is what he's painting for me, the special con edition of the Witch Dock Croc, and it's looking beautiful. It's gonna look great.
I think she's one of the better pinups too. She's really fun looking.
Oh yeah,
I need to get me one of those.
Yeah, they're amazing. They should have them at the place at Warmachine Weekend, man.
Yeah, they will.
It shouldn't be hard to get hold of one. So there you have it, folks. There's your Brushhead Gallery for this quarter. It's a yay. So I super appreciate the 12 people. John, do you have any dice nearby?
I do.
Do you have a D12 by any chance?
I have a wireless headset. I have whatever I need. I just have to figure out exactly what particular box they're in.
If you can find a D12, that would be optimal. In the meantime, because what I've done here is... What's that?
We can use a random number generator, too, like 1 through 12.
Do you have a
internet? Psh.
Okay.
How would we use the internet? I've got a million things. You'll probably have it faster than me.
I will.
Okay, so go ahead and Shoshie, you will go ahead and you will use the 1 to 12 random number generator. What are we drawing for, folks? We are drawing for a Games and Gears diamond file set. You see it right here in my hot little hand. This is not the one you will get. The one you will get is actually in a box that's never been opened, and these things are fantastic. They are they're quite large. Some of them are, but they have nice grippy handles. And you can get in there and do your business on them, and they're super sweet and totally legit.
Number 11.
Number 11, you say? That goes to Doug Shannon. Now, Doug Shannon, if you remember, was the gentleman that had that fancy Absalonia.
Nice.
So he will be getting himself a set of genuine Games and Gears. That's sponsored right down here where my finger is. Games and Gears file set. So if you're hearing my voice, please email me from the email that you sent that picture from, because I'll know it's you then, and give me your shipping address, and I will ship these out right away. Part of our continuing commitment to have contests here now that we are as far along on the Patreon.com as we are. So we're going to be doing at least monthly contests, and we'll hopefully have sweet stuff to give to you. I've still got stuff back here in the vault, and we'll get that out. Doug Shannon, congratulations.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay! That was really fun. So let's go ahead and let's kick this out to the Brushheads. Do we have any questions and answers, Mr. John Spencer, while I open up my Sprecher hard root beer using everyone's favorite Luchador bottle opener? Hey, man, I'm going to open up your beer. All right, so here we go. He's going off the top rope for the root beer, and he's got it. All right, there we go. Hey, I'll talk to you later. There we go. So he's going away. All right.
Well, we had one question, but it's more of a actual topic, so I'm going to save that for later.
Okay.
I got it in here. We've got one from a while ago from Legionnaires. I haven't seen it in a bit, but I'm sure he's still around.
Yep.
He has a painting question. He's for Shoshie. It's what are some good tips on having a smooth transition from the main color and highlights and shading?
So first of all, the best thing you want to have a smooth canvas for your base color to begin with. So the smoother that is and the less little bumps and ridges and things you have, the better. And I was told by Michael Proctor, he's another legit painter from Colorado, to take like if you've got a big surface like a cloak or something like that and it's got little pits in it, to take a little milliput and make a little slurry with it with a little water and kind of paint that over the back to fill in all the little pocks. Another thing you can do is take your gloss coat. Like I've got just some gloss varnish and you can put a little of that over your bare, after your primed metal, and that'll kind of fill in pocks as well. So you want it really smooth, and then to get the smooth transitions, I would thin your paints and just glaze. Look up videos about glazing. Another thing is just you're going to have to get to know your paints and get to know how some colors layer over others, and that means painting a lot. So some paints don't transition as well, and some colors don't transition as well. And so learn to know which ones will transition easily and just try not to use the ones that don't.
Do you find, Shoshie, that different brands layer better than others?
Absolutely.
Are there some ones that do an exceptional job? Are there some watch outs that you maybe should consider not using those paints?
Goodness. So I've been having trouble. Where is it? With the Vallejo Ivory. When I try to layer over stuff with that, it chalks up on me pretty quick. So I've been avoiding that. And actually, I like them. The P3 paints. If I really like them, they're a little bit more satin than most, and so they are designed for smooth blending. And they have a little bit of a longer drying time, which also makes them much, much easier to blend. Because I think that one of the reasons why a paint will chalk up is because either the bottom coat or the top coat, one of them is I think the bottom coat might be too wet or maybe not dry enough or something, and then you put another thing over it and that
almost like a tear.
It's all, it almost tears it, or it'll just kind of almost like a dry brush look over it where it's not smooth.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You want to really make sure those layers, you're either wet blending where they are supposed to both be wet, or you've got wet on top of dry and dry.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be talking about wet blending is one of the things that I know that they're going to be doing some different kind of seminars at Warmachine Weekend. Hopefully, I can get some recording equipment on some of the folks that are doing that, and they'll be willing to allow it to be recorded. And maybe we can post those for the Brushheads on the Menoth John YouTube channel.
Yeah, that would be cool.
John, I think I saw a question come in from Hairdo, which is of
Yeah.
course our one of our newest cabinet members. That is Explosive Bro. So why don't you shoot off with one of his?
Yeah, he asks any suggestions for keeping motivated.
So for me, I have a little calendar back here,
Mhm.
and what really helps is for me to write down the models that I'm going to be working on and when I'm going to try to get them done by. And because right now, like I said, I've been working on my own stuff, and it is ADHD. I've got models everywhere. I don't have anything finished, and so I'm going to try to incorporate some of my commission work ethic into my own stuff and see if that maybe helps. But I also think another thing that helps keeps you motivated is do a little palette cleanser mini in between. I've got some of these Super Dungeon Explorer chibis, and they're really fun and cute. And just to do one of those every now and then in between stuff to just go back to having fun.
Yep. From my standpoint, one of the things that I always kind of lean on is there a list that I want to play that has a specific model in it? I mean, that's one of the reasons why Tyrone got painted, is because I was excited to get him in a list, and I've kind of made a rule for myself that with as much as I have painted and as much as I have done, I should be playing painted models. So, I mean, and for some people, that's my rule. That's not necessarily a rule for anybody else, but that's my rule. And if I know there's a list that I'm going to take to a tournament, that helps, or some type of an event, that helps keep me motivated to get after those models. I can tell you with great certainty that's why these damn Highwaymen are not done, is because I don't have a list that I like that has Highwaymen in it. I like Highwaymen. I'd love to play them, but I don't have. I mean, Fire Mountain and Madrak 2 don't use them. So there you go.
Another suggestion. I have another suggestion. The group that I moderate for, the Warmachine Hordes painting group on Facebook, you're always welcome to throw up a challenge to people and say, hey, does anybody want to do a painting challenge with me where, we'll see if we can paint, this unit by the end of this month. And then I always try to have painting challenges every so often where we'll have either a challenge or a contest or something just to keep people going. I know, like, we had a unit painting contest once because I hate painting units, and that's always needing to be painted.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. And get a set time to paint, or if you can, even get like on a Google group with some people, Google chat, and just paint during that time. And that's most important, because if you try and do it by yourself, you're gonna get distracted by the internet, by TV, by whatever. If you've got people with you doing the same thing, you sort of all help yourself keep going with it, and that might be the easiest way.
Absolutely.
Hangouts for me they have made me successful because I can stay motivated and stay entertained at the same time.
Absolutely. I think that's very, very important. I think Dowdark has an interesting suggestion out of the chat room here. Dowdark says putting a reward model to paint after slogging through a unit is also a good thing, so it helps drive you to the end. If there's a particular model that you really, really, really want to paint, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, and going more into that, Dowdark, since you put it as a question, I actually think the reward model is a good idea, because that might be a model you want to paint, but you've got to get units painted. Try and get a good, paint a unit, paint that model you want, paint something else. That's a good way of keeping yourself from just doing all the stuff you want. And then those models you need to have never get done because you don't necessarily aren't as inspired.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Go
ahead, John.
There's another one from Dowdark here, and he's asked if you ever done any brush painting with airbrush paints, and if so, is there a certain scenario when that type of painting is the best?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I have a client that has me painting a whole Ret army, and I don't know what I would do if I did not have my airbrush with those guys. So, yeah, I think anytime you've got a bunch of models with a lot of one color that needs to be very smooth, airbrush is just invaluable.
I think what he's actually asking, though. Go ahead, John.
Oh.
You're going to clarify.
He's wondering if you actually paint, like brush paint a model with the airbrush paints.
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely. I've got the Minotaur paints by Badger, and they actually make really great brush-on paints. And then also the Game Air are really excellent brush paints as well.
Yeah, I'm holding
In
a whole
fact,
bunch of miniatures up in the air here that I have
yeah.
that I use to brush paint with all the time because what's nice about them is that they're pre-diluted. So
Yes,
if you're looking for a
so is
thinned
Game Air.
paint, they're awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
One thing though that I have noticed, and this is probably something that you already aware of, because they're already pre-diluted, when you put them onto a wet palette, their half-life for being useful is a lot lower because they will dilute out to the point where they're almost a wash
Yeah.
very quickly. So you have to, if you're going to use a wet palette with an airbrush paint, make sure you use a small amount and that you use it quickly because you can always add more. You can't add less. So
Or maybe mix it with a paint that isn't an airbrush paint.
Yeah.
To give it a little thickness.
yep, that's a great suggestion.
All right. Well, next we get a from CD Tatra. He wants to know what's your process for for choosing a color scheme for a new faction. And that's a tough one because that's sort of where I fall down with a lot of stuff is getting that new paint scheme ready for when I start a new faction.
Yeah.
So I'll go first. I'll go
yeah.
first because I've had to do this a couple of times in the not too recent past. Once with Troll Bloods and once with Retribution. And the thing I based it on was I knew that from my experience from painting Protectorate that I wanted something that I discovered colors I didn't enjoy painting. And I had discovered that what I wanted was something that I could for me, a lot of the enjoyment I get out of painting is accomplishment of getting models done. So
Yeah.
with my Retribution, I went with a very relatively fast color scheme to paint. So my Retribution is literally take a number, what is this? A number 4 Winsor Newton and fill it full of cold steel and basically after you've just got done priming the whole goddamn model from being silver, turn it back into a silver model, and then I use washes to wash it down, and then I highlight back up, and it goes super fast. So the answer to the question is, I think about what are color schemes that are going to match my objective for that particular faction. In my Retribution, I want it to be done. That is the object. So
Right.
it has easy color schemes. Is it the most beautiful army in the world? No. My Signar is one that I wanted to look as beautiful as possible. And so I picked colors that appealed to me when I look at them. I like the color gray. I like the color blue. I like the darker shades of gray and blue. So that's kind of what I based it off of. I don't care for the standard Signar color scheme, so I took it to a little bit of a more dark gray, dark blue. I think that's another key, and you guys can chime in here, but I think picking colors that you enjoy the way that they paint and you enjoy the way that they look is important because it helps keep you motivated.
Yeah. When I picked my colors from my circle of Oberos, I knew that so the whole reason why I picked Circle was because they have such a variety of models that you're not painting the same thing almost ever. And so having a faction that could be very different from each other yet still be cohesive was important. So for me, having that like a green glow that was still kind of part of the studio scheme, but my glow is like more ethereal and glowy. But then my colors were sort of purples, browns, and oranges, and greens. So that's kind of my theme. But within that, I can have so much variety, and as long as the figures have some form of those colors, even if the model is gray, but the gray is a gray like a purpley gray, that counts as my purple.
Sure.
And like my browns count as my orange, So that was important to me, is like being able to be very flexible within the faction and they don't all look the same, but they kind of all go together because I'm using a palette that's all sort of similar.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, my trolls use pink as a unifying color, but what I've noticed is that my models have become progressively less pink as I've continued to paint them. They all have pink. Pink is going to get pulled back somewhere or another in that model, but I've learned that I don't enjoy painting pink terribly much. So the amount of pink has drastically scaled back on some of my later models, and these damn highwaymen have a lot of pink in them, which could be part of their problem.
I do the same thing with mercenaries. I get I think it's Thornwood green, in all of them if I can.
Yep.
That's sort of like the unifying through them. But in general, just steal a paint scheme. I mean, I know it sounds horrible, but just look at painted models of any game. Look at superhero costumes. Look at whatever. Just steal paint schemes. My Rulic guys are all painted like Crimson Guard from G.I. Joe because I'm like, that's pretty simple. Only a couple key colors. They contrast well, with the black and like the silver and the red. Let me go with that.
So I'm gonna throw this out to you guys and ask a question. I'll answer it for myself, and then I'd love to hear what your guys. If you could steal one person's color scheme to copy out for one of your armies, what would it be? In mine, I would steal Chris Miller's Drop Bears from his Signar. That color, that bright green and purple, I think is such an attractive color scheme. And I wouldn't want to copy it now anymore because it's Chris's, and the Drop Bears are a well-known army. And but man, is it beautiful.
Don't let that stop you. I mean, really, I know it sounds horrible, he's your buddy and all that. Don't let it stop you. I mean, it's just a paint scheme. I mean, good Lord. You gotta paint it something, and that's actually flattery, because that's the actual form of imitation is flattery.
He's such a great painter, and that color scheme. Although I know a lot of other people have painted some of those Drop Bears. Man, they're beautiful.
Yeah. Just challenge yourself. Then, I mean, if you think you're not going to live up to it, challenge yourself. That's a good challenge for you.
That's a good point. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I think, God, there was somebody who recently posted on the Warmachine Hordes group. And I always tell people when I see something I like, I say, I'm going to steal this. I just let them know,
Oh, yeah. I always give
credit. A lot of times they think it's great, and I always credit, and I say, hey, I got this idea from this person. I can't seem to find the actual scheme that I liked that is, I know who did. Somebody, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. My friend, now I've got to go look. Did a blue scheme for Circle of Voberos.
Well, while you're typing and looking,
Lovejoy. His name is Aaron Lovejoy.
Okay,
he's amazing. Okay. And yeah, he did a blue. I was like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing.
What about you, John?
Hold on, my train of thought just went away.
So, what color scheme would you like to steal? Which one have you seen?
I don't really. I steal enough as it is. I mean, I steal from any of the guys. I can't think of one that I'm like, I'd really like to do that. The closest would be not Brushhead Dave does this very good metallic red on a ton of different models. He's done it like 3 or 4 times now, and I'd like to steal that, but being in the same store, that might be a touch too much.
There you go. Any other questions, John, from the audience?
Let's see. I don't think so. Let's see. There's questions.
Lots of great conversation.
Looks like we've covered them all.
Lots of great conversation going on in the chat room, folks. If you get an opportunity to tune in on the live show here on Sunday nights. The community going on in the chat room is just as good as it gets.
It's fun. Yeah.
We're sometimes it's even related.
Yeah, exactly. While we're doing Non Sequitur the Clown impersonation up here, usually the chat room goes off on tangents in and of itself. It's what I'd always hoped this show would do, and that's bring a community together that are kind of like-minded as far as wanting to help each other and to kind of discuss things, and we just have a good old time. This is the show that not being able to get a date caused. So
Oh.
For those of us who don't have another damn thing to do on a Sunday night, this is us. So,
Ron.
Hey, Ron. All right. Man, we are streaming the shit out of this tonight. We're at 2,200 kbps, which means something to IT people, I'm sure. I think it just means that it's streaming like a bat out of hell. So there you go. Streaming the shit out of this.
We still have 12 people watching?
We have 22 people.
Whoa.
Yep. Yeah, what?
Hey, people.
There you go. So, all right. So we have, let's see. That answers the question and answer. John, it's everybody's favorite part of the show. So we turn the mic over to you to savage some shit. Let's talk about movies.
Okay. So first thing, this is weird since I was slightly inebriated when I talked about Stealth. I wanted to point out that last week they did a brief thing in Stealth where they talked about the ethics of using drones in war, and it just occurred to me, I guess a couple days after the stream that they were sort of ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah, way ahead of the
curve.
curve.
If they only did spend 5 minutes in the movie on it. It was a good little theme in there. But back to this week. So I took one for the team this week. I got home Friday. It was kind of slow at the store. We closed up early. I just rolled out, came home, and I'm like, I'm poking around Amazon Prime. I'm like, oh, this movie's free. I'll watch this. It was the most recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, yeah. Take them one for the team. I'll start by saying, normally, describing a movie by shots of Krakens is a figurative thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was literal.
Yeah.
There were points where I stopped the movie, paused to get a thing, and I'm like, why am I still watching this? And it's weird because I don't hate this movie. I can't hate this movie because there's not enough there to hate. I mean, it may be formulaic and bullshit, but it's not hate-worthy. It's not like a movie like, I hated that. It was just not good, bland bullshit. So I'll start with the bright side of me defending things. I will defend the turtles being bigger and, doing all these crazy things, and the whole shredder armor with its firing fucking knives that he retracts and they come back to him.
What?
Because magnets or something. Yeah. Oh my God. He fires his knives sometimes. He's got shredder power armor. Sure, it fires knives. Whatever. But then he activates his little magnet thing, and then they all come back. And I'm like,
that sounds incredibly dangerous.
When I first saw it in the preview, I'm like, I'm completely out at this point. No. But then, after seeing it and they describe things, it's not a normal Turtles movie. It's a superhero movie. The Turtles just happen to be the characters. I'm like, okay, as a superhero movie, I can allow that. It is no more or not much more off the wall and crazy than anything I've seen in other movies.
Fair enough.
The real problems lie in the fact that the Turtles are ugly. I don't really like the aesthetic of them.
Yeah.
The aesthetic of the Shredder armor is not very impressive. Somehow he managed to have power armor that's all cool and all and be less intimidating than the Shredder from the original movie.
Oh, that's bad.
It's hard for armor to be intimidating if it's not just big and bulky, and they just didn't do a great job at that.
Mm-hmm.
Megan Fox isn't horrific in this movie, and that should probably be damning enough. She's not the worst part.
Megan Fox is in that son of a gun, huh?
Yeah.
Man, she's been in some bad fucking movies, man.
Yeah, she's just. I mean, you're like. She's not the biggest problem with this movie. I think the biggest problem with this movie is that they made it, and they went the way they did. It's just such a mixed bag of crap. It's cookie cutter, standard bullshit. Oh, look, she sees them. She gets this fleeting image of something. She takes it to her boss. She's a reporter, and the boss is like, "You're crazy. We can't report on this." Blah blah blah. I mean, it's like,
get me pictures of Spider-Man. I want pictures of Spider-Man.
Exactly. But it's not even that impressive because her boss is Whoopi Goldberg, and Whoopi Goldberg isn't. She didn't need to be her. It could have been anyone else. Didn't need to be her. Didn't need to be Megan Fox. I don't even know why they got her. It could have been anyone else. Her love interest -- friend is not terribly funny most of the time. He's just more of awkward funny. You're like, you got a problem, dude. Especially because he looks like twice her age. which is not a huge problem, but still a little creepy. Because sometimes she still looks kind of teeny, and I think they're going for that in general.
Oh my, that's not fresh.
What's no, it's not.
That's not from the Fresh Take hotline from Subway. We don't like that.
I don't know why they keep doing the movies like Turtles, where they kind of keep the turtles secret and hidden. You don't get to see them until later. Because let's be honest, at this point, we're watching a movie called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We know there's going to be turtles that are Teenage Mutant Ninjas in there.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like someone needs to go, change that bit up. It's just when William Fichtner, who plays one of the bad guys, can't even bring the movie up, that's a problem. Because when I saw Drive Angry, he brought that movie up a notch, his performance. And this, he's just sort of like, I don't want to say he's phoning it in. He's just not inspired, you know?
Yeah.
There's a brief point in the beginning where I'm like, oh, hold on. But I know the story's not going to go that way. And, oh, good Lord, there's a scene where he's talking to April, and like he was a scientist. He was friends with her father before her father was killed. And he explains his sort of like, oh, I was brought up in Japan, I was a white kid in Japan, and they all made fun of me, and then this sensei took me under his wing, and you're like, he says that, and he talks to this ancient Japanese thing. You're like, you've just explained the entire plot, and it's so blatant that you've explained the entire plot. It's just like, there's the entire plot.
They should put really big letters across the screen, exposition.
It's like, it's like foreshadowing. Like, it's just
I'm sorry,
not good.
John. I'm sorry, John.
And the action's not good. Boy, the action's. Oof.
I mean, I'm not Turkish Star Wars sorry, but I'm sorry.
Oh, Turkish Star Wars got an excuse. This doesn't have an excuse.
That's true. They have a budget on this show.
This movie being this bad to mediocre is just, there's no excuse for it. People say, "Oh, Michael Bay." Look, Michael Bay may not be the best director, but I legitimately enjoyed the first Transformers movie that he made.
Yep.
I held it up as that movie is a great time, and it's probably way better than ever had a right to be with him directing it. This one's just like, and he's not directing; he's only a producer, and everyone likes to throw it out there. It's not necessarily his fault. Man, I just can't. 4 shots of Kraken. Good Lord, don't watch this movie.
Wow. Okay. Well, 4 shots of Kraken, folks. I can't argue with that.
I literally had 4 shots of Kraken during the movie.
So this
I have to give it 4 shots of Kraken.
I'm gonna have a sympathy Kraken right now.
I watched a Kraken movie last night or yesterday.
Oh snap! What did you watch,
So-
Shoshie Bauer?
So, my husband and I, he took me to see Maze Runner 2. And we saw Maze Runner 1 together, and it wasn't so bad, but it's definitely, for the teen crowd, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But Maze Runner 2, we even spent extra to get the D-box seats, which, those are the
Shut
ones
up.
that are, like, moving around and stuff. That actually made it a little better, because it made it more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Bad,
Yeah.
huh?
And that's not a good thing, because it's just a lot of bad writing in it. It's a lot like Maze Runner 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same people pretty much. I don't know. It just lacked a lot. It didn't feel like you just didn't care that much about the people in it. You didn't.
That's bad.
Yeah.
I've heard that another time, yeah.
He introduced way too many characters, and it felt like a really, really long movie. And so you're stuck in this movie for teenagers, and
As an adult.
you're an adult, and you're waiting for the climax, and they keep tricking you into thinking, okay, it's almost this, but here's some more characters, and like
Stop it! God damn it!
and here's a new love interest, and
Oh.
switch and do this, and it's just no.
To hell with love interest, by the way.
Maybe if you're a teenage girl, and I'm sure you have a lot of them watching the show.
Yeah, they're a big part of our demographic. We are all in on the 18 to 20 the 13 to 22 demographic. We're fucking like a rocket. I'll tell you what.
Oh god.
So funny you should mention that, Shoshi. But according to YouTube, 3% of our audience is female.
Okay, well, I mean, a really nice husband might take his wife to see this, but I don't. If he's really trying to earn points, don't.
Well played, milady. Well played.
Oh my.
Like, I mean,
If
when
you
we got
like
out of the
her,
theater-
don't take her to this.
yeah. When when we got out, I was like, I'm really surprised you wanted to see this, and because I kind of liked the first one, but he's like, yeah, I really thought you wanted to see it, and I was like, no, I because I you wanted to go.
Shoshie?
I was like, okay.
Shoshie, as a man who has
Communication is
been
the key.
as a man who's been divorced twice, communication is everything. And what we have here is a failure to communicate.
We had a good time because we kind of mocked it, together, and we had fun, and we had fun with the rolling chair, and
Oh,
so that was
how many
but-
shots of Kraken for Maze Runner 2? The
gosh, I don't drink a lot, but I'm thinking probably 3 or 4 for
3.
sure.
Well, we'll give it 3. I mean, because four is a
Yeah,
special kind of gross.
Wouldn't have paid as much as we did for it again ever.
So I'm not going to talk about a movie, but I am going to talk about a manga. I'm going to talk.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about a little manga that I purchased on Amazon called All You Need Is Kill. And
I know what that's related to.
yes, that is the manga of the story, which eventually became The Edge of Tomorrow,
Or Live Die Repeat as they're marketing it as now.
right. And it is it's really interesting because I love the movie. I really did. I'm not a fan of Tom Cruise. I am not a fan of all the lives he has touched in a very special way through his particular brand of craziness. And
I don't really care for him myself.
yeah, hate him with a fiery passion of 1,000 suns. Almost didn't go see Edge of Tomorrow because of that, but I did, and I'm very happy that I did. It is an amazing movie. He does a great job in it, and All You Need Is Kill is the Japanese story that it was based on, and
Okay.
essentially the characters are more or less the same. At least Rita Vatansky, who is the Emily Blunt character in the movie, is the same name and all that kind of stuff. But it's the manga is incredibly Japanese, and what I mean by that is that it is Japanese fiction doesn't end well, ever. It's never going to end well. So wrap your head around that going into it. And the whole thing with this is that there's this whole convoluted part in Live Die Repeat where an alpha spooges all over Tom Cruise, and somehow that is how the whole resetting the day starts happening. And what ends in the manga, it is a little bit more organic than that, and rather than being this hive mind kind of a thing, it takes it from the standpoint that this particular critter is almost set up like a computer network. And I have to tell you that I hate to break it to Dow Dark, but Pac Rim 2 has been canceled. So
Well, not canceled, but suspended indefinitely. Yeah.
but it's wonderful. The lead character, instead of being this colonel that tries to weasel his way out of going to the front, he's just a grunt. He's just a kid who's in the army, and he is this happens to him, and he ends up meeting Rita Vertansky, and instead of that bullshit carbon fiber that she's using to kill these things, she's got a fucking battle axe. And I don't mean a small one. I mean, it's a big goddamn battle. It's Japanese anime battle axe. It is like 16 feet long and weighs 40 tons, and it's just ripping the piss out of these things.
Like
and
Cloud's sword is giant.
Oh, Cloud's sword is a freaking toothpick compared to this battle axe. It is amazing. And of course, they're wearing the jackets and all that kind of stuff. And so they can swing it because their strength is enhanced. But this isn't this slightly plausible armor thing that they show in Live Die Repeat. No, straight up, we got ourselves some Gundam going on.
Nice.
These suits are big and awesome and made of wind, and they can swing the 16-foot battle axe because they are made of the dying souls of Japanese ancestors, you know? And it's
That's pimping
amazing.
right there.
Oh my God, it's a double D of your pimping right there. It's a double dose. So I highly recommend All You Need Is Kill. It is it's an amazing little manga. Rita
All you
Vertansky
need is kill. My daughter might like that. Is it?
Yeah.
What would you rate it? Like, could a 16-year-old get
Easily.
into it, or is it a little?
easily.
Okay.
It is tragic. Oh my
Good. She would
God.
like that.
Oh my God, it's so goddamn Japanese. And Rita Vertansky's character is much more believable and much more likable than the Emily Blunt version. I think that that they didn't do necessarily a good job of developing the relationship between Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt in the movie, and
I didn't believe that she would ever like him. I was kind of really surprised.
And in Rita Vertansky in the novel is a small town girl from Iowa, and she's the way that they handle how she's looped in the past and how he is looping now, and it's much more believable the reaction that she has when she first realizes that he's been going through the exact same thing. Imagine the mental trauma of dying, hundreds of times. And from what you can tell from Live, Die, Repeat, they must have looped like 500 times to get to where they were. And that's not how many times it happens in Live, Die, Repeat. It's a much more reasonable number. You'd be straight up insane if you died 500 times. It's really a good book. It looks thick. It is a quick read because there's a lot of art to look at, and it's really well done. So I give it a one shot of Kraken because you're going to need it at the end. You're going to need it at the end.
That's almost doesn't count as a shot of Kraken because that's like really, you want that.
But if I don't give it a shot of Kraken, then you don't get a shot of Kraken.
That's
and
true.
you gotta have a shot of
Take
Kraken.
Yeah.
You have to be ready for the Japanese not so happy ending.
No.
Because sometimes it sneaks up on you. I
Man.
had an old anime called Evil Dragon War Chronicles that I got at some con. And you go through the whole thing, and basically the guy is just trying to save his girlfriend. At the end, guess what? He doesn't.
Girlfriend's
I mean, he
fucking
killed
dead.
the bad guy, but she died. It was.
Man.
I'm like, oh, this is kind of depressing.
Cowboy
Nice.
Bebop, one of the greatest anime of all time.
I'm with you.
Nobody gets to have a happy ending, goddammit. Nobody. And it sucks.
Yeah.
Not one happy ending.
Not even a single one. And frickin' Faye Valentine. You fall in love with Faye Valentine, and she's
Maybe
just
Edward
tragic.
and Nine get a happy ending.
What's that?
Yeah.
Maybe Edward and Nine get a happy
Yeah.
ending.
Yeah, kinda. Even though Edward's dad's a dirtbag.
There must be a U.S. thing. I think the U.S. is obsessed with happy endings.
I think we are.
You know.
I think we are. I think
It helps because I mean, let's be honest. If you get down to it, our ending will not be so happy because our ending is death always.
yeah.
No one knows what that entails, so we like to bulk up with happy endings beforehand.
Well, we got them.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
This is the culture that invented smoke 'em if you got 'em. So we're gonna.
I don't mind the not entirely perfect happy ending. I like a
Right.
deep ending, and I like a well done tragic ending.
Yep.
But every once in a while you need the happy ending to keep going.
My favorite quote by Peter S. Beagle is, "There are never any happy endings because nothing ends." And that was said by Schmendrick the Magician in The Last Unicorn.
There you go. Okay, tell me about this last unicorn. This is something that I am not aware of, and it seems to be somewhat culty, and I should know about it.
Awesome.
The last unicorn.
I saw it when I was 10 years old in the theater, and I am still obsessed with it. It's so awesome. You can rent it, or I think you might be able to watch it on Netflix. I'm not sure, but at least watch it once. It was done in a kind of an anime style back when they weren't doing that kind of thing.
Yep.
It's beautiful. It's one of the first movies that Jeff Bridges is in, Mia Farrow's
Nice.
in. It's really, 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 really good. It's a modern fairy tale.
I need to address something that just happened in the chat room from Sir Broadsword. Fuck Elfenlied. I'm just going to put that out there. Fuck that anime right square in the mouth.
Yeah.
No. No. Do not watch Elfenlied. Walk in the other direction. It's
Okay, then.
not safe for people.
That gets a lot of cracking.
It's not safe for people.
I don't think it's actually. I think it's much more hentai, isn't it?
Oh, it's more
no.
sexually graphic than it ever should possibly need to be.
Not good.
I watched. That being said, I did
No.
watch all of it.
I mean,
so there you go.
I've seen them when I saw them when I was 16, but
And
it's
look how you
definitely a
turned out.
Yeah, I know. We're now on the fucking internet, so there you go.
let's be honest. After I saw the Legend of the Overfiend, it was all easy, whatever.
Yeah.
After that point, you're like, psh, ain't no thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. We're gonna on that note, on the note that is uniquely Elfenlied, we're gonna go ahead and start the old music up here because Bob Ross is my spirit animal and shit. So, Shoshie, as always, God bless you, my dear. Thank you for being a part of the Sunday night extravaganza.
Thanks for having me.
Always fun when you're here. Jesus Christ, it's always good when you're here.
Good.
You get this many old people on the channel at one time, good things are going to happen. You know that.
There you go.
Not
exactly.
you, though. Not you.
I am old.
These two, me and John.
Oh, are you old?
I am. I'm probably older. Well, no, I'm probably not older than John, but I'm probably older than John Spencer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I celebrate my 41st birthday here in a week and a day.
I am older than you.
Yeah, she's got you.
There you go. Okay.
She wears it damn well. But
That's true.
That's because I'm a geek and I don't go in the sun.
yes. Fuck the sun. Anyway, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Sunday Night Extravaganza. This is Painting with Menoth John on behalf of the amazing, incredible Shoshie Bauer. You can see her over here at Shoshie's Magnificent Mini Painting here at facebook.com/Shoshie's Minis. She's a spirit animal of the podcast, one of the many. She's in the zoo, and we'll be back next Sunday to do all this. On behalf of John Spencer, I'm Menoth John. This is the MJ Warmachine Hordes Network. We'll catch you next time on Painting with Menoth John. Good night, everybody.